Now 5 months ago, a video on YouTube was made claiming that football boot culture was dead. It was published by some idiot with a red hat wearing pajamas. Now looking back on it, I still stand by my opinion. However, I do kind of think there has been a slight revival when it comes to football boot culture since then. Now in January 2024, Adidas decided to nuke the footballing world by dropping a new version of the Adidas Predator, inspired by the 90s design of the boot. And this decision had me left speechless. Adidas really went out and dropped a football boot called Predator in 2024. This is crazy. But Adidas didn't care. They doubled down on that nonce name and dropped the Adidas Predator and took the world by storm. They dropped a spectacular classic colorway of the boot, laced, laceless, and even with the fold over tongue. And players who were wearing them were starting to go crazy, with the main ambassador being Mr. Lightskin, Mr. I'm 20 but I actually act like I'm 30, Mr. Jude Bellingham. And that decision itself made the boot skyrocket even more. Since their initial release, Adidas have also dropped an all-white colorway, an all-black colorway, and every time they drop something new when regarding these boots, it brings me closer and closer to picking up my Nike Tiempos and throwing them in the bin. But I must resist the urge. I have £14 in my account. I wouldn't even be able to buy a left boot, let alone a pair of football boots. Currently, as football fans, I think it's safe to say that football boot culture is slowly but surely being revived. Kinda like you're in Black Ops 1, Zombies, Kino de Toten. You're playing split screen with your younger sister and she dies early into round 7. You gotta solo the entire round until you can revive her, but when you do, when that next round comes, they're going to come and there's going to be some special antics in that round 8. You know, some combinations. You go left, I go right. You know, you throw the grenade, you throw this. We're going to take down these zombies. Adidas dropped this Predator boot and has taken the world by storm, and more hype drops are coming. And I could just feel it. You know, there's no actual speculation or rumors. I could just feel it in the air. And if I'm keeping it 100, Adidas are on top of the boot game right now. With Jude Bellingham being the front man for the Adidas Predator and Nike ambassadors failing to impress, it looks like Nike have nothing they can do. But there is something that Nike could possibly do to get them back on top. And in my opinion, it's to revive the T90 line. Now Nike T90s defied the 2000s era of Nike football boots. Worn by the likes of Luis Figo, Roberto Carlos, and prominently Wayne Rooney, Nike eventually discontinued the line. Growing up, I was lucky enough to have 2 different pairs of these, and I don't know if they were authentic or not, but they sure did feel authentic when I was slapping in goals at break time, at lunchtime, and even during my midweek games. I own the Total 90 Laser 1s and also the Total 90 Laser 3s, and I swear, that was when prime striker Jib was in business. Initially, when these bad boys dropped, some of the most classic names in football, the types of players that our uncles would talk about, were promoting these boots. The likes of Francesco Totti, Lilian Thuram, and Edgar Davids, just to name a few. All of the designs in the line had a prominent 90 on the boot, which slowly but surely developed into this foam target pad that would be used to strike the ball perfectly. I'm telling you, when a player wore these boots, their shot power automatically went to 90 plus. As soon as you connected with that pad to the ball, it was going top corner every single time. It felt marvelous. Pure heritage. The 2011 versions of these boots are the ones that I, recall having the most memories of, with a lot of strikers at the time wearing them and scoring bangers week in and week out. But of course, I was too young to really witness the early 2000s brilliance when these boots were first released. But just imagining a rebirth, a revival of this boot line is making me go insane. Now in 2019, Nike actually did revive this boot with a black and yellow edition of the T90 Laser. But unfortunately, despite the success of the boot's drop, they did not follow up with any other pairs. And I'm just imagining right now, imagine Haaland next season lacing up in a pair of rebirthed, revived Nike T90s. But it's all in Nike's hands. They hold the power to revive the shoe, and I think the fans would definitely be behind a proper revival. New drops, you know, a new ambassador for the line. It has to be Haaland, and it would just be so hype. You know, Jude having his own Adidas Predator line, Haaland having his own T90 line. Now, of course, welcome back to Tea with Jib. You can't watch this section of the video without having a cup of tea by your side. Of course, mine's nowhere to be seen, along with my hat. If anyone wants to ask where's the hat, a pigeon actually pooped on it. Now, the other day I reached out to the community again, and you guys came clutch. I asked the question, what nostalgic football boot deserves a relaunch? And some of your answers were incredible. So I've picked a few out, and I've decided, you know what, during this segment, we're going to go through each of your, answers and talk about these boots for a little bit. Now, my guy Craig commented Mercurial Vapor 9, and instantly, memories flooded my brain. Now, these boots had some of the best colorways I had ever seen. My favorite being this sort of pinky purple with the yellow Nike swoosh with the lettered Nike on the inside. It was perfect. And if these shoes got re-released in the exact same format, just with a couple different colorways, I'm telling you, the world would explode. Wingers would be back in full action. Indefinite Vids commented the R9 2002 World Cup boots, and again, let's not even talk about just R9's boots in general. Throughout his career, he had some of the most immaculate boots I had ever seen. And it's weird, they went from this small swoosh Nike to obviously the massive swoosh that we see on the Mercurials. But the original R9 ones, the R9 Mercurials, had a small little swoosh, and the design patterns were just nice and crazy. Silvers, blue stripes along it. Beautiful boots, and if they came back again, they would be, selling out. Now, Manchester United, actually the 11th Manchester United commented on my post, and they said Nike Magistas, of course, and CTR 360 Maestries. Now, let's disregard Nike Magistas because I went on a spiel about them in my first ever football boot video, which will be linked, somewhere. But the other boot that was mentioned, the CTR 360, don't even get me started. This was a boot made of class. And of course, he mentions that Iniesta was the front man for the boot, but Iniesta was actually the front man for the yellow and black version of the 360 Maestries. The guy that actually pioneered these boots for me was Cesc Fabregas. He had the CTR 360s as well, but they were red, black, white. It was looking beautiful. And it just, if I saw someone, a player wearing these boots, I was thinking, this guy's going to control this game. There was no way. He had, if the boot said 360, that means the player was going to control all 360 degrees area of the pitch. It was immaculate. This boot deserves some sort of revival or just a design that's similar because they were awesome. Now, Andy Matthews commented the 2014 Adi Zero World Cup boots, and I had to go and do some research, search up what these boots look like, because instantly what came to mind, I don't think matched the picture. But then when I searched and I saw this, yeah, these boots.
Just need to think about some stuff.
Now, Earl Staples commented Hypervenoms, and again, I feel like just the Hypervenom line deserves an entire video just about how goated some of the designs were. I don't even remember other players wearing them. I just remember Neymar, Hypervenoms. That's it. And of course, he went on and moved on to Puma and things like that. But his prime, his Barcelona prime, when he was winning things and he was playing out of his skin, he was rocking Hypervenoms. And they had some of the dirtiest colorways I had ever seen. And I didn't even get to wear many pairs of the boot, but whenever I did, just that cushion, the snake pattern cushion on the front was so helpful in game, just to cushion the ball. It was beautiful. This was really an art form of a boot. And if you guys actually, put some Hypervenoms in the comments below, I think I might do a whole video just describing, just talking about the hypervenom boots? So let me know in the comments. And I think again, you know, someone's actually irked me to just call off the entire video, because Caleb has commented, hear me out, the OG Cabrini boots deserve a shout out. And if you know from my first ever video on football boots, these banana boat looking boots were some of the worst things that ever came out of JD Sports. And if you don't know what JD Sports is, it's like the place where all like kids growing up in the UK went to go get their football boots. And Cabrinis were just the cheapest boot available. They weren't even on Sondico level. They were worse than Sondico level. And of course, my broke self, you know, my family, I'm not trying to ask my mum for £110 boots when I'm 10. So she was buying me some Cabrinis as my first. If I was good at football, then I get promoted to some Nike pairs. But Cabrinis, don't ever comment Cabrinis on my videos again. But what do you think? Is football boot culture making a comeback? You know, did my video 5 months ago age badly? And is now the time for Nike to compete with Adidas again? Or will Adidas reign supreme with these Adidas Predators dropping, you know, more often, and, you know, all the limelight being there? I don't know. I'm still going to be rocking my Nike TM posts. Man's got £14 in the account. So of course, do what you can to help Jib Rules. Like the video, comment what you thought, subscribe if you're new, and of course, stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.